Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Elion, and we are here with Jeff Westlake of Hydrogyn. Welcome, Jeff. Could you tell people who you are and what you do within the band of Hydrogyn?
Well, that's a great question. So I am the guitar player and original founding member of the band Hydrogyn. I do writing and guitar playing and some background vocals. But that's my role inside the band.
Cool. So let's dive into some questions.
Sure.
As a kid, what were you listening to?
As a kid, I grew up in my grandparents' house the first 5 years of my life or so, and my source of music at that time was country. I grew up listening to Johnny Cash, Roy Clark, Hank Williams, not Hank Williams Jr., Hank Williams, and and the Statler Brothers and the Oak Ridge Boys, all kinds of stuff like that. That's what I listened to growing up. Johnny Cash was my favorite. Still love Johnny Cash to this day. I think I have every album he's ever put out. And then, of course, once I got a little bit older, probably about, I don't know, I'm going to date myself here, but probably about 70, 71. I heard Iron Man coming from my sister's bedroom, and everything changed.
Yeah, I can actually understand with the Black Sabbath t-shirt on.
Yeah, well, I'm supporting the Dio years. Of course, Ronnie James Dio, as far as I'm concerned, was the real Black Sabbath vocalist, but that's just me.
Yeah.
This is from the Rules of Hell box set. So yeah, I always supporting Ronnie James Dio in one way or another.
He was a damn good singer, damn good singer.
Great at what he did, man. He, if it wasn't for him, there's a lot of people in the industry we wouldn't have out there now, because he influenced like multiple generations.
Yeah, he was. Wasn't he a trumpet player at some point? Yeah, but when he first started out, in the music industry,
he contributed playing the trumpet early on as to what developed his vocals, actually, because he learned to use the diaphragm so well, because of playing trumpet. You always hear Ronnie or Tony and Geezer and even Richie Blackmore talk about the fact that he never warmed up. He just walked out on stage and started singing. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I've heard like so many stories about Ronnie, about he just went, once he got out on stage without any warm up, he just started belting songs out.
Yep, that is fact.
So, any other influences that you were a kid, what you were listening to at the time?
Well, I had all kinds of things I listened to, but the things that I really gravitated to when I was a kid was probably Ace Frehley from Kiss. I loved his voicings, even though his playing was, simple compared to a lot of guys. His solos were things that I still remember to this day. Loved Ted Nugent. There were, at that time back in the 70s, there was nothing bigger than Ted Nugent going on. So Uncle Ted was quite an influence. And Tony, Michael Schenker, and I'm a huge Dave Meniketti fan from Y&T. But there's other things too that influenced me. Whitesnake, David Coverdale and Whitesnake. Influenced me a lot, and then going into the early part of the 80s, then you go into George Lynch and Jake E. Lee and some people like that. But the basis of my playing probably is a cross somewhere between Nugent, Frehley, Iommi, and Schenker.
Yeah. So who actually influenced? Who got you into into the music? Was it your grandparents, or was it your sister, or was it somebody completely different?
No, I think my grandparents have to take the brunt of that. Because that house was always full of music. It was always, there was always, they had a really nice console stereo system, which had a turntable, cassette deck, a radio, and an 8-track player in it. And it was all one unit. And it was just really, really, really nice. And that thing went nonstop. I mean, and then when it wasn't on, the TV was turned on to musical shows at the time on the weekends and stuff like that. So I have to say that it was them. It was a bug that bit me before I think I even realized that it bit me, to be honest with you. I think I was so young, I don't realize what happened. But from a very, very young age, from probably just coming out of the womb, basically, getting into that house, hearing music all the time, I would have to completely say my grandparents are the reason that I am where I am.
Cool. So, who inspired you to actually pick up an instrument?
I'd have to say Luther Perkins from Johnny Cash's band, from the Tennessee Three. I used to sit around and listen to his licks, and it was always cool to watch Johnny too. I was just a little kid. Johnny Cash plays guitar and do all that stuff, and that's where the influence came from. That's where I picked everything up, and I used to watch the Johnny Cash show. It aired on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. That's how much I remember that. I mean, it stuck in my head, and so. So I did that, and that's where the influence came from. And when I was very, very, very young, I think when I was 3, I got my first toy guitar, and then I got a real guitar when I was 6, and it just went from there. Got my first electric guitar when I was 11, I think, and it just I got a Les Paul, got an amp. And it just went from there. So it's never been anywhere but just right in front of me, And so I would say Luther Perkins, watching him and his brother Carl Perkins, great players, and of course Johnny himself. And then I started watching Roy Clark on TV and a bunch of other great players, Chet Atkins. Of course, these are all country people. And now here I have gravitated to hard rock and metal over my lifetime. And as I got older, it just kind of progressed into other things, then Nugent, then Schenker, Iommi, Blackmore, Minichetti. So that's kind of how it happened and the progression of that happened in.
Yeah, cool. What were you in any bands prior to Hydrogyn?
Oh yeah. My the very first band I ever formed, I didn't form it. I was actually asked into it, and by some guys by the name of Scott Dial on drums and Stephen Nett on bass. Back when I was 16, the name of the band was Equus, and we played just locally here in the area where I'm from, and and I played with various other outfits here and there. And then in 1998 or 99, I decided to go pro. I wanted to do it for real, and so then I formed Westlake, and we played consistent for 4 years. And then right at the end of that, by then I had met Jeff Boggs, who I formed Hydrogyn with. And Jeff and I put a band together, and and the very last piece of that band was the original lead singer of Hydrogyn, Julie. And we got her involved, and then things just took off from there. I mean, and it took off overnight. It wasn't your traditional, man, we played for years and years and years, and finally somebody noticed. And it wasn't like that. It's we got together, we started playing. Julie was a country singer. She needed some time to develop her vocals. So for about a year, we did nothing but covers. We did cover shows. And then we did an original album as a demo piece called Best Served with Volume. And then Michael Wagner, the famous Michael Wagner from Ozzy and Alice Cooper and Metallica fame, held a meeting with us, and everything just took off from there.
Cool. So, what has Hydrogyn been up to over the last since the pandemic started?
I sure haven't been twiddling my thumbs as you and I were talking pre-show.
Yeah.
have been busy. Hydrogyn recorded an album. We've got Holly Hines on vocals now. We recorded an album called The Boiling Point, which a re-release of that is coming out on October 1st, I believe it is, through RFL Records. I've been busy recording some solo stuff as well. I've got a covers album that will be called Blueprints. It'll be coming out sometime this fall. Hydrogyn has a live recording getting ready to come out probably somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'm recording a band right now from New Zealand called Mojo Alice, which is just a kick-ass heavy blues rock album, female singer. Been doing that and working with some other stuff too. But, that's my hands have been in a lot of stuff and staying very busy doing what it is that I love.
Cool. So, you've been doing some solo stuff. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Put out my first solo album in 2016, I believe it was. It was called In the Key of Blue. It's a heavy blues rock, and when I say heavy, I don't mean heavy as in heavy. It's just like it was heavily based in blues, and so we put that out. And then in 2018, I put out Dead World, which is my next solo album. Those were kind of albums that I needed to get some stuff out of my system that I'd kept in for a long time. I had a certain kind of music I wanted to play. I'm not all about hard rock and metal and stuff, so I wanted to get some stuff out of my system. And so we did those two albums. And then in late 2019, got Holly Hines on board for Hydrogyn. And then we set off, during the height of the pandemic, the original one in 2020, Ryan Stepp and I, who Ryan had come into the band on the other guitar spot, who's probably my closest friend right now, came in, and we back and forth to Huntsville, Alabama, where the other guys were. And so we recorded the new Hydrogyn record, and we've gone back and forth and, did the live thing down there as well. But now I'm taking time to do the covers album, Blueprints, for my solo stuff, which is a combination. There'll probably be two releases. The first one's going to be the original, the older years. I got like some Alice Cooper, some old Black Sabbath, some things that influenced me as a kid on there. And I recorded those things traditionally. In other words, I kept the sounds of the original recordings. It'd be too easy to walk in and just play everything really heavy with new distortion and make it sound modern. I wanted to make it sound like it sounded when I first heard it and fell in love with this stuff. So that's what I've done on a lot of it. It's everything from Sabbath, Alice Cooper to Bryan Adams. There's some Bob Seger. And then we'll come all the way forward a little bit and do some stuff that's a little within the last 20, 25 years. That'll probably be on the second release. But I'm also working on a new solo album as well, another all originals album that I'm looking to probably release in the spring. Along also at the same time, I'm also starting to write for a brand new Hydrogyn record. So, but the solo stuff, for anybody out there that knows it already knows this. For those of you who don't or new to what I do, the solo stuff and the Hydrogyn stuff are different. They're different beasts altogether. Now this new solo album is going to be a little closer to the Hydrogyn stuff. I'm going a little bit into a different direction with this album, just naturally. But you can find the solo releases out there, RFL Records, and then the new stuff. I'm not, will either be on RFL Records or Rapid Fire Global Music, which is a label that I've had that's going to become an imprint of RFL Records. So, that's what's going on. Anything more than that, and you'd have to commit me.
Excuse me. Yeah, could you tell us a little bit more about what Hydrogyn's up to, with the new releases?
Yeah, right now we're waiting for the Queen to come back. Holly had a little procedure done; it's got her down right now. We're waiting for her to come back, but we're wanting to play live. We desperately want to get out and play live. We did the live recordings for this new. We're actually releasing 3 EPs, and those EPs are all going to be from the same the same thing. We're just cutting them up in 3 EPs, and then on each EP is going to be a new studio cut as well. And we've already got the artwork and everything done for them, and Holly's doing all the old tracks that people know, the old Hydrogyn fans know, from Blind to Breaking Me Down, The Sand, Deadly Passions, and new stuff off of the Boiling Point as well. But we've shot videos, and there'll be videos out there to support the release, and like I said, we've already started writing for the next record, which I'm not anticipating the next record to come out or the next original new record to come out probably until October 22.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So what's the in the future for the band? Are you going to try and get out to try to do some gigs?
Well, yeah. We've had some people ask. We've had some interest already. People contacting, wanting us to come play. Our whole gear is to get back over to see you guys. It's been a while since the band's been over on that side of the pond, and we have a huge fan base over there. I've always been really excited every time we've ever gone over there. We come up into the UK there. Hopefully I'll be having Ian Glenn Wright from Rocket Ride Promotions, who's always handled us over there. We'll be doing the same thing, and do that. But right now, there's tours that have been scheduled that have all here just recently are being shut down as we speak. So, we all want to get out and play. It's not a question of do we want to do it. It's a question of can we do it. So, as soon as it's safe to get out there, and not get out there, right now you get out there and get all geared up and get a tour booked, and then you have to shut it down and lose money. We will be doing it, most definitely.
Yeah. So in an ideal world, would you, without any pandemics, the money's there, you got all your, everything is in place, would you do like a full-blown North American tour, South American tour, or a full-blown European tour?
Absolutely.
Or try and get over to Australia?
Oh, absolutely. We would do all the above that we mentioned. Those are the kinds of things that you do this for. You get out in front of people and share your passion for music. Music is the international language. I don't care what language you speak. It speaks to you, the emotion and the passion that gets put into it. It's just an amazing thing. So, but yeah, we're no different than anybody else. We want to play. We want to get seen. We want to spread our brand of emotions, all over the world. And so, as soon as everything gets to where we can do it again, we'll do it. People have been scheduling tours, Kiss has had to put their tour off. Priest is just now getting into their 50th anniversary tour, which was supposed to have happened last year, and you've got, David Coverdale and Whitesnake trying to do his Bowing Out tour and stuff like that. So, things are just really tough right now in the climate, just because, nobody wants to go out there and get sick and die unnecessarily.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Say Sam's in the chat. Sam Bourne.
Now say it again.
Sam Bourne.
Simon Bond.
Sam Bourne.
Oh, Sam. Hey, girl. Yeah.
Yeah. She's the one who set this interview up, and I thank her for it.
Yeah, she does a lot of good work for us. She's on top of it, man. She brings a lot of new things to the table for myself and RFL and everything else. She's an extremely hard worker.
Yeah. She says, "Hi, Jeff."
Hey, Sam.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about new material. Is there how many EPs that's due to come out? Is it? You said something about 3. 3 EPs.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me look this up real quick so I can give you the correct thing. Because if I don't, Miss Freed will call me up and say, Mr. Westlake, that is not correct. So the live things are all going to be called Hydrogyn 318, but each EP is going to have its own name. The first one is called Live Never Fails. And then the second one will have something, and the third one will have a different name, but they'll all be. It's kind of like taking a Bible verse. 318 is the verse, I guess, out of a chapter. But it's really cool. We've already got the artwork worked out for it. Each one of those releases will have a brand new studio track. This first one's going to have a brand new studio track called Crazy. So, that song will be on there, and then the second one will have its own, and the third one will have its own. And then the initial thought right now is when we get to the third one, we'll release the third EP, but we're looking at possibly releasing the whole thing on vinyl as well.
Cool. I think final's going to be a lot better because I think final's a lot. It's a much more richer, warmer sound to the actual music.
And it seems to be making a comeback. I mean, over here in the States, anyways, you start walking in places now. All of a sudden, they have their own, vinyl sections where there didn't used to be any vinyl at all, and the CD sections have all shrunk, and now the vinyl section's getting bigger, and so it looks like we're in the process of a revolution.
Yeah, it's a bit. That's a bit like here in the UK, where basically everybody's basically clamoring, literally just like wanting vinyl.
Yeah,
because this generation hasn't even heard what vinyl can do with like the sound, so to speak. It's I grew up on vinyl back in the 70s and 80s, and it's vinyl is much more better than CD or tape.
Well, what I always liked about vinyl as a kid growing up was it was always so, it's nice size. You could sit down, listen to the album, read the notes, especially for the bands that took time to put in lyrics and liner notes and things like that. It was always cool to sit there, and it was as much a thrill to sit there and read and look at what was packaged as it was to put that piece of vinyl on the turntable, drop the needle.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Listen to the actual album on vinyl, but it was also it was like a pleasure to actually look at the artwork and actually read the notes at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a big deal. I mean, you knew certain bands were going to deliver certain things too. It's like when a Maiden album came out. What was Eddie going to be like this time? When a Dio album came out, what kind of demonic overtones is this one going to have? Just really cool things. King Diamond or Merciful Fate or Kiss, or so many bands had so many cool ways of presenting their material in artistic form with the covers and all that stuff that I was always excited to see what the cover was going to be and the artwork, and look at it and and just sit there and like go off into your own space just looking at this artwork and letting the music just kind of surround you in the room that you're in. With a CD, when CDs came out, they started putting these nice little 20-page booklets in the CDs, but the stuff was so small it was hard to read.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. It's when you got like a album, a record that big, and you go like down to that big. I was just like, no, that doesn't. Yeah, it might look good with like a 20-page booklet inside the CD case, but nothing beats like like a full blown like 12-inch record in your hand, looking at it, and you're thinking it's seeing all the details in the artwork, and you can actually read all the lyrics and the notes and everything else on it. But no, it's
Yeah.
finals a hell of a lot better.
Oh
Hell
yeah.
of a lot better.
Yeah. I can't disagree with you one way about that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've always been a vinyl guy. You know, of course I've got thousands and thousands of CDs too, because that's what we were left with. But every weekend for like the last couple months, I've gone out and bought vinyl, you know, and it's really cool to go to the record store now, you know, back on the back wall of my local store. And there's only one. There's all this vinyl back there, and they're getting in fresh vinyl. You know, all the bands, everybody's releasing vinyl now. They're re-releasing their big albums on vinyl, remastered and all that stuff. And, you know, but you go in there and, you know, it's just cool to finally walk in again and be able to go through records and look at it, instead of, again, getting CDs and going, damn, that's so small, it's hard to even read. You know, so.
Yeah. It's a nice thing to actually walk into a record store and actually seeing vinyl that's just sitting there. We're saying, come and look at me. Come and search through the search and see what you find.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you know, that's what's cool to me. You know, I walk in now, and all these things are happening here of late, that I've noticed when I've gone into my store. You know, all these box sets. You know, like you know, I think Motorhead just released Overkill in a box set with all these, you know, with all these tracks that haven't been heard yet in a live show, and you know, I noticed that Sabbath released Paranoid in this huge box set. Man, it's got like, I don't know, I think it was like 6 pieces of vinyl in it, and you know, all this cool stuff's coming out, and it's just, you know. And I remember there was a guy standing in the store, and I was in there, and he goes, "Oh man, who wants to pay $99 for that?" And I was like, "Who doesn't?"
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm like, matter of fact, I'm buying this right now, so I'm marching my ass up to the counter, paid for it, walk out.
Yeah. Well, put it this way, I wish I had the money to actually go out and buy vinyl, because some of it is like I said, some of it's really expensive. Really expensive. Unfortunately, I don't have the money at the minute. So anyway, there's someone called Rising Force 72 as posted in the chat. Nothing like vinyl. Going to have to pull my Hydrogyn bombshell vinyl now.
Yeah, hey Chris. Hey Chris, how you doing? Did you get the red porn splatter vinyl, or did you just get the black vinyl? Let's see if Chris will answer that. That guy's name is Chris Colatrella, who is a longtime friend and supporter of the band, and that guy owns everything I've ever done.
Cool. So if anybody wants to ask Jeff a question, please do just type it in the chat, and if we got time, we'll try and get it. It says,
I'll have to try to get a hold of it's called Porn Splatter. It's red and black. I'll see if I can find one of those for you. We sold quite a few of those vinyls, and that was back in I don't know, Chris could probably correct me on this, but I think that was like around 2009, 2010 that we put Bombshell out on vinyl. It was a gatefold that came with a 6-page fold-out poster, or booklet. I mean, a 6-page booklet that had lyrics and pictures from the tour and all kinds of stuff that wasn't available with the CD. And I think there was a poster in there as well. Is that not right, Chris?
Right, he says, now let me see, get this right one. He says it's unsigned, of course, and he says nice.
Yeah.
And with
posters, yeah.
With poster, and he says 2008, I believe.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, he would know better than I would. I've done so much, I can't keep up with all the years and what came out when and all that kind of stuff. But Chris is one of those guys that, you know, he remembers it all.
Yeah, yeah. And I give a little shout out to Jem. He says,
Ah, Jim.
"Hi."
Jim is the vocalist for Mojo Alice. Jim is a class is a world class voice. That girl has a world class voice. She has been a dream to work with. We're about to finish up the new album, which will be coming out like in spring, early summer of 22. But that girl right there is a keeper. I mean, wait till you hear her voice. They have an album out right now, L, called Liquid Sin. You might want to check that out. It was an album that
Yeah,
I had the pleasure of mixing. The new album, I'm producing it, but her voice is just unbelievable.
cool, cool. I'll have to check them out. I think I might have some stuff up there from them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Mojo Alice. They're from New Zealand. One of those bands that has been a hidden gem up to this point. No pun, but but you know they're a fantastic band. They're fantastic people too. For me, when I get in a situation to produce another act, I have to get along with the people before I can even think about getting involved. You know, in a production standpoint, and they're all just super lovely people.
Cool, cool. So, yeah, says,
Yeah, whatever.
yeah,
Whatever. She's a sweetheart. I'll let that pass by the boards.
yeah. Looks like I might be interviewing Mojo in a bit. In I don't know when exactly, but I will be interviewing Mojo Alice in hopefully sometime in the next few weeks if everything comes together.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know. I don't know which one of them you'll get for the interview. They're all fantastic. I mean, you won't go wrong any way with any of the four of them. Um, you should get Jim because Jim's the one who likes to talk.
yeah, if Sam, can you set that up, please?
Yeah, Sam
Yeah,
will get it all set up. Absolutely.
yeah, Sam's brilliant. So I'll say, Sam, can you come do it? Can you set this up for us, please?
Where'd she go? I wonder.
Yeah, she's here. She's talking to she's talking to Jem.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I can see the chat. I can see the chat in there on my right hand side. So it's just the chatting away.
Nice.
Yeah. So right, like I said, if anybody wants to ask Jeff a question, by all means, put it in the chat, and if we got time, we'll get to them. So anyway, as we wait for some questions coming in, probably the last question from me says, any advice for people who want to become a musician?
I think the best advice to give anybody who wants to become a musician or get into the industry is you better make sure that you are focused and that you realize that this is not a party. You know, if you want to be successful and you want to do things, um, you know, it's not a party. There's so much work that is involved inside of this, and so many things that have to happen. And to be successful on any level, you know, I was told once by Michael Wagner, the famous producer who produced Bombshell for us, that there's a whole bunch of lights that have to go from red to green. And he wasn't joking in any way. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. You've got to be focused. If you're playing music because you just think it's fun, you don't have any business here. If you're playing music because you have a passion and you love it and you want to do something with it, then you're the person that everybody's looking for. It's not. Some people get lucky out there and just do it for fun, and they've gotten lucky and made a career out of it, but they weren't around real long. So it's a real thing, and it is a job. At the end of the day, it's a job, just like anything else. So, just check your passion, make sure your passion level's high enough, and if it is, you'll be successful, and hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, cool. I've got a question from Rising Force, and I think we covered this earlier on in the interview. It says touring?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Well, Chris, the touring question is open-ended. It's all based on COVID. It's all based on what's going to happen with COVID, how it's happening with COVID. We've got the Priest tour out here in America right now that I heard him talking about on the radio day. It may get shut down. Kiss's Into Road tour may end up getting shut back down. So I don't know. For Hydrogyn, Holly had a procedure. Holly had a medical procedure, and so we're waiting for her to heal from that. And I don't anticipate that to be in probably until December. We were lucky enough to record, get something recorded live before she went in for that procedure. And, and it came out fantastic, and everybody will hear it really soon. But, there's no sense in going out and booking a bunch of stuff and making a bunch of plans and spending a bunch of money if this freaking Delta variant or whatever it is just going to keep ravishing people as we know it, and things being shut down. So, football games are already being canceled, and not the pros, but lower levels. It's going to take a lot for the pro games to get canceled. But, so touring, yes, we'd love to. We want to. We're actually dying to get out and do it. When will it happen? Man, I'm sorry, I just can't answer that.
Yeah. It's at the minute. It's just, I think it's like was just like wait and see type of situation at the minute. Like it's just wait and see.
Yeah,
I know this. I know there's like a few bands playing some like smaller venues, but like I said, just wait and see. Wait and see at the minute.
It's just unfortunate right now, but it's the way the world is and what we're left to deal with.
Yeah. So if anybody else has got any questions, just type in the chat now. Because I think that might be about it. I think, especially from my end, it's So I'll give it a couple more minutes.
Sure.
Because it's like about 15-second delay on the chat.
Right.
So if you get over to the UK, when would that be? It's a type of thing. Or would it be sometime? Obviously, it'll be sometime next year.
It'd be sometime next year. At this stage of the game, it would probably not be until fall of next year because, as a lot of people out there that watch this, they probably don't know. Unless you're playing the big festivals in the summertime over there, touring the UK and Europe is useless because everybody's on holiday.
Yeah, especially in the like around about the back end of July, going into like August and like the first week in September. That's when our school holidays usually happens.
Yeah,
it's around about the back.
I talk to people all the time about the fact that it's holidays over there, and you can't really, you could book going into a venue, but nobody's going to be there because everybody's going to be on holiday and at the big festivals.
Yeah, it's probably like the best time to get over here. It's usually round about April, May, or it's like I would say October, November.
We always seem to tour in the fall, and fall was always good.
Yeah. I've noticed like I've seen quite a few bands in like around about around about end of September, going into like November.
Hmm.
And it's like sort of put on some really good shows, really good shows.
Yeah, there's a lot of great places to play over there. I can't remember the name. I want to say it was the Tunnels we played up in Aberdeen.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
that was a really really cool show, cool venue too. That whole situation up there is really cool. You're kind of like at the end of the world, so to speak, because that's the last city I think in Scotland before you drop off into the ocean. So
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just thought of a question. Speaking about venues, what was your favourite venue in the UK?
probably the Underworld.
Yeah,
I like the Underworld, and I like the one, like I said, the Tunnels up in Aberdeen. I like that a lot too. Um, uh, but the Underworld was really cool because I guess because it's all the way down south in the UK. We had people from Egypt and every place else coming in there to see us that night, and it was just really a cool vibe. And it's an odd venue, but everybody in the world's played there. Um, but it was a lot of fun. That's the thing I remember the most about the Underworld. It was just a whole bunch of fun.
cool, cool. Which whereabouts have you toured in the UK? Was it obviously probably played like London, Birmingham, Manchester, that type of areas? So, any other places you've been to?
Yeah, we played all those places a couple times. The Hall, Aberdeen, Edinburgh, uh, uh, Bournemouth. Um, those are the places that just come to mind. I know that there's a couple pickup gigs along the ways in some places too. Um, uh, I can't remember the name. Newcastle. Um, so there was some small gigs, there were some bigger gigs. There was some cool stuff. All of them were really cool though. The thing I remember the most about the UK was the turnouts were all strong.
Yeah, the people of the UK always love the music, always have done. They've it doesn't really matter how big the band is. They always
Yeah,
have a relatively decent turnout.
we played. I remember we played Newcastle. What is it? Newcastle, Rock City, I
Yeah,
think.
not
We played
Rock City.
we played Rock City, and there was a bunch of Russians in there that night that were on some kind of a trip that they were doing. And man, that night was rabid. That crowd was out of hand. But I remember it like it was yesterday. I was just like, "Wow, where you guys from?" Then they started talking. I was like, "God, never mind."
uh, Mind you, there is some crowds that it can be a bit of a handful.
Yeah,
Can be a bit
well,
of a handful.
they were on the edge of being a handful, but it was a great night. We ended up having a lot of fun. We actually filmed that night, and I've gone back and watched that a couple times, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's. I've been to some wild. Well, I wouldn't say wild, but some gigs where been having walls of death and people getting literally dragged out of the mosh pits because somebody went down and they didn't get back up in time, and because they had busted noses, broken cheekbones, fractured ribs, and everything. It's just like,
Oh,
oh,
that stuff happens over here too. That's not,
yeah,
that's just world craziness there.
yeah, yes. Yeah, because one of my nephews just started to go to gigs by himself, like with friends. I've always tried to tell him, look, I've been going to gigs for 30 years. There's always one unwritten rule. If you're going into the mosh pit, look after the person's next to you. If they go down, pick them up straight away. No ifs, buts, and maybes. If you don't like them, tough, pick them up. Because if you don't, they're going to get injured big time.
Oh yeah, they'll get trampled.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
always pick watch out for your for the people around you. It's
Yeah,
just no worries.
you're absolutely right about that.
It's I always try and like impress on me. What I mean, always try to impress on me. My nephew and my niece. Always be careful in the mosh pit, because if you don't, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. You be like, either you get seriously injured or possibly even death.
mosh pits don't make any sense to me, but hey, that's
No.
just me.
Yeah, I've
That's just
well,
me.
yeah, I stopped going into the pits about 20 years ago. I was just like, no, never again, because
Right.
I've seen too many people get seriously injured, seriously injured.
You're very seriously injured. I've seen that myself. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not something to be taken lightly.
no, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing. Well, I think that might be about it.
Okay.
So I think so, Jeff. Thank you so much for coming on and actually doing this interview. It's very much appreciated.
Well,
So
thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me, and it's always nice to make a new friend and see new faces. So thank you very
Yeah.
much.
So yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. So like I said, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your night. What's left of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. See you later, guys. Thanks for coming.